Hello, everyone. And the last session we started with the VS Code installation connection. I think we completed that part, and we were stuck on a part where we were not able to retrieve the components. I think I found the root cause of that. Share the screen. Give me a minute. Okay. So I think when we try to retrieve these components and click, we get this error, right? The org is not supported for source tracking. So when I search this, what I'm getting here in the document is the developer editions and also is not supported in, yeah, source tracking is not supported and can't be enabled in partial copy, full copy, or developer edition. Source tracking can result in metadata. It's so here we are getting issues with the because our is a developer edition, so it's not allowing you to do the source tracking. Source tracking is like changing of any. It allow you to auto pull. I mean, pull and push information from your VS Code to the Salesforce org. So the second way to do this, you will have a list of SFDX command to write here in the terminal and then retrieve those information or push those information. For example, so this is one of the command, like let's say I have to retrieve a student registration object. So we'll have to write sfdx force colon source colon retrieve hyphen m custom object colon the name of the object. So if you just copy this and paste this and press an enter key, it takes few seconds to few minutes to retrieve all the components, all the metadata of this object, and it will be visible under the object. I think I've retrieved for the student fields, list view, record types, validation rule, everything is retrieved. So it will take few minutes and it will start completing. Meanwhile, what we'll do, we'll leave it as it is and we'll start the next session, which is learning of Apex. And it's quite going to be quite interesting. So in this session, we'll talk about what is an Apex programming, what are the syntax of Apex programming, why Apex, what is primitive data type. Okay, non-primitive data type is entirely a separate session. We'll talk about that as well. So first, what is an Apex? So Apex is a strongly typed object-oriented programming language developed by Salesforce. Right. So it's a programming language which is majorly for Salesforce only because Salesforce introduced it. But its structure, the way of writing code is very similar to that of Java. And it follows an object-oriented programming concept as well. Okay. It's similar to Java and C hash. Run natively on Salesforce and a multi-tenant architecture. That means when you run these commands, it can run only on Salesforce architecture and Salesforce infrastructure only. Okay. Where we use Apex. Yeah, there are some scenarios where we can use Apex is like trigger when we want to run a logic before any operations like event DML events, like when you insert a record, you want to do something, when you update a record, when you delete a record, you want that to be automated after the process, like in Flow we did. So similar logics we can write in trigger. Reusable code and business logic for custom objects and custom classes. Like you want to write a batch class, you have a you want to just verify the data in a table if it's working fine or not, and read it every day, send an email to someone. So it's like a reusable code or a business logic. You can write web services if you want to write any integration with a third party system, get the data from an external system into Salesforce, or send the data from Salesforce to an external system. You write using the Apex code. Batch processes, if you want to handle millions of records, then in that case also you will use Apex. And if you want to invoke the logics of Apex from the flow, and that means extending the flow part, that is also possible via Apex code. Now, why Apex, right? When you have flows, when you have workflow of process builder automations already in Salesforce declarative approach, why do we use Apex? So business logic beyond the declarative approach, right? Beyond the declarative approach means, let's say it's not possible. in the flow the logic is not possible, then you have to go with Apex only. For example, uh, let's say you want to do some change on a data. I mean, small changes, every small changes is possible in the flow. But when the logic becomes very complex, the flow is also not going to work in a proper way. So in that case, you'll have to go with Apex. So let me just connect the charger. I think my battery is low. Okay. Yeah. When your flow logic is feeling like you don't see a way that can be done via flow, then you will go with Apex. And you want to scale your process, like if you want to play with millions of records, you go with Apex. You want a custom integration with external system, you will go with Apex. And you want security and transaction management with Salesforce platform rules, then you go with Apex. So in short, whenever you get any requirement, first think of that requirement to be fulfilled via declarative approach, via flow. And if it's not possible, if it's going to be a complex one, if it's like you have a logic which is not possible in the flow, go with Apex. Okay. Or you have an already trigger already written and you see a line of code adding adding in that trigger can fulfill your requirement, go with code. Okay. It is possible that you are working in a management AMS project, that is application management project, and you already have all those components built. So you will have to just understand where you need to make the change, make that change in flow. I mean, creating a flow for just one line of change or fulfilling a requirement is not a good way. The good way is to understand the place where you have to make the change actually and do that change. Okay. Now, here is the syntax of Apex. We have to follow a naming convention in Apex. Like the class name should always start with uppercase. It follows a Pascal case. Wherever you see a new word is inserted in the class name, started with uppercase, like my first class. So my first class. M is uppercase, F is uppercase, and C is uppercase. Variable will always follow a camel case, start with a lowercase, and then subsequently it will have a uppercase for the next word. There's a semicolon every line of code. Wherever you want it to end, you will have to end it via semicolon. Not in case of method. When your method is starting, you don't need to enter a semicolon when your method is ending, or neither in case of if else statement or switch or while statement. Okay, all these things are only for the statement, like you're declaring a variable or you writing a SQL query. In that case, you will have to terminate it via semicolon. Now, case Apex is not case sensitive. That means your name and small name are same. Okay. For example, this is one very simple example of declaring a variable. Where is it? Sorry. Yeah. So what I'm doing here, I'm just declaring a variable, and the variable name is Apex. Sorry, Salesforce first and then Apex. When you debug name, it shows Salesforce, and when you debug name, it shows up. Let's see if it's working or not. Let's see. Let's try to use it in our code. So in our developer console, if I go, there's a way to run a script in developer console. Okay. To run that, you'll have to click on execute anonymous, or you can use Control plus E shortcut to run it. So let's say I declare a name, string name equal to Salesforce, and string name equal to Apex. I think it will throw an error. System dot debug name colon name. This text inside the column inverted comma is just for reference. You can type anything here. It's not like it's going to be same as the variable name. No, You can write anything here, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. This is just for the reference when you debug it. Then system dot debug name colon name semicolon. Okay. Now click on execute. You see duplicate field name because both variable are same. So it's not going to be successful. Okay. As soon as I change the variable name and right here, let's say I just change the variable name. So here both will be printed as Salesforce. Let's see that. In the debug log, click on this checkbox. It will just show the debug. See, both are Salesforce because uppercase name and lowercase name are same. That means it's not case sensitive. But if I print here name one and check this checkbox, it will auto open the debug log and click on this debug. See, now it's showing me name is Salesforce and name one is Apex. So this is the way you declare a variable. So name is actually a variable. Name one is also a variable, but we are hard coding a value inside a variable. It's a constant value. You're not changing it. Okay, so name uppercase name will always be Salesforce and name one will always be Apex because we have already hard coded a value inside this. All right. Every statement must enter with right. So when you go with this, what I have done, every statement is terminated with semicolon, right? Now, how do you comment a line? So if you want to comment a single line of code in Apex, you just have to click slash slash and this line is commented. When I execute this, if you click on debug, only one debug will appear, right? If I just click on this also, nothing will appear. Nothing is coming, right? So if I want to comment these two lines, so what I will do, I will click asterisk mark, slash asterisk, then asterisk, and then asterisk close. What does it mean? So if you go to the slide, if you want to do a multiple line of comments, you have to use slash asterisk. Okay, meaning because I'm using slash asterisk, I'm ending the asterisk slash so that it means my comment is ending here, and here is the this is also part of this range. So you need to include asterisk here as well. Okay, now I write anything outside this. Let's copy paste this and just click on execute. Only the one which is not inside that limit will get debugged. 78787. You see, these two are still commented. So multiple line commenting, asterisk, single line commenting, plus forward slash. All right, execute. Now, keywords, yes. Reserved keywords cannot be used as a variable. For example, there are some reserved keywords which is a part of the coding public, while, if, return, class, all these are keywords because it's a part of the compiler tool. Like if you are writing public class class name, that means public class is always going to be a reserved keyword for the compiler. It will not be allowed for creating a variable. For example, here if I write class equal to apex token class is unexpected, right? If I write public, I cannot declare a variable. Public is, if I write if, it is also reserved. Okay, whichever word or text which we use in the coding is always a reserved keyword. You cannot use it for a variable name. Okay. Declaring a variable, I have already discussed. Like if you want to declare a string, you have to use string. If you want to declare an integer, you have to use integer. If you want to declare a boolean, you have to declare a boolean. And the value, integer is always going to be in the form of number. String is going to be in the form of inverted comma. And the boolean is going to be in the form of true and false. Okay, that's the way you declare a variable. Now, something which is very important to understand here is writing the mathematical operator. In Salesforce, you have to understand, see, mathematical operation is quite easy. Plus, minus, divide. Relation is also fine. But in relation also, you have to understand if you are comparing two things, you have to use, if you are comparing two things, let's say A equal to B. In general maths, you write this. But in Apex coding, you will write A equal to B. Okay? That means let's say you have a string. Let's do this here. Okay, let's string name 1 equal to fx. Okay. So when you compare these two, you have to write, because you compare it via if statement. If name equal to name 1, then system dot debug equal, then semicolon. This is just for printing. If else. If else statement you all have studied in the C++. If this is satisfied, it will go into this. If this is not satisfied, it will go into else and it will print not equal. Not equal. So that means when you compare two values, Salesforce equal to Apex, you don't compare with one equal to. You have to use double equal to. When you execute this, you will get not equal to, because Salesforce Apex are not equal to. You will get not equal. Okay, close everything. And right here not equal. Okay, so move it like this, not equal and equal. Okay, this is the meaning of not equal, and equal to means equal. So when it will print not equal, when these two are not equal. So if I write here Salesforce, let's see if it's case sensitive or not. Even the variable name equal, so it's not case sensitive, right? So it's equal. These two are equal, so it will print equal here. It's going to into else. So this is a simple Apex code which we are showing you, and that's the original condition. Logical condition, you will have to understand this in detail. I will explain you with an ternary operator. These two things I will explain you with examples in the next sessions. Thank you.